What's up, idols? It's Cece Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for clicking on this video. So I gotta talk a little bit quieter because Bae is in the next room sleeping. So today's star is gonna be called Jasmine because, like she said, he really did show her a whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. She never expected to find someone she loved, someone who loved her back, and especially not in Korea as a foreigner, especially not in Korea. So she always knew that she initially wanted to spend a year in Korea, a full year in Korea, and because she's an ocean lover, she picked Busan instead of Seoul. Everybody goes to Korea and they flock to Seoul. She wanted to go to Busan, and I do think that Busan is low-key better than Seoul. It is gorgeous. The mountains, the seafood, the skyline, the ocean, the beach. Perfecto. So you know, Jasmine lived the typical expat life in Korea, studying when she can, making friends, exploring the new country that she lives in now, and enjoying the occasional night out, clubbing. So now we're gonna jump to one of those nights in particular because this is where everything went down. She went to a club in Busan called Output, and she says she lived for these stress-relieving nights out. You need to drink to forget all your worries. Admittedly so, she says she does drink way more than she really should, and this night was so bad, in fact, it changed her drinking habits. Typically, her friends keep her safe, they look out for her, they get her home, they babysit, but this night was not like the typical night. By the way, Output is her favorite club in Busan. Like, she felt comfortable listing this club. No defamation, she's not trying to slander the club. You can't help who gets in the club. Like, the creeps were in the club, not the club itself. The club was great, she loves Output, it's her favorite place. She recommends it. So yeah, unfortunately, the purse cannot be avoided in these clubs. So on this night, she was out with two of her friends, and they're like really good friends, but unfortunately, they got a little bit separated. So Jasmine is drunk, separated from her friends, and she's spiraling. She couldn't get in contact with them, and she can't remember if it's because she had no signal or like her phone was dead, but she just knows that she could not get in touch with them using her phone. So then these two guys come in, and we're gonna stick to the theme and call them Thing 1 and Thing 2. If you wanna know why we call them Thing 1 and Thing 2, we just did a story time about this girl who was most likely roofied and drugged while bar hopping in Gangnam. So yeah, they approach Jasmine and they greet her in a familiar way, like they know her. So she was confused and she said, I need to find my friends. But then they started to act like they knew her friends as well. And because she's drunk, she did indeed follow them. But she started to get suspicious because they tried to lead her outside of the club. And they kept telling her, oh, don't worry, your friends are outside waiting. But she knew that was BS. Even though she's drunk, she knew that was BS because it's raining outside. Her friends would not be just outside standing in the rain for what? But not only that, she didn't want to go outside because she didn't have her coat on. Her coat was either with her friends, at their seats, somewhere. She can't find it. She didn't have her coat. It's cold outside and it's raining outside. She doesn't want to go outside of this club. But they ignored her and kept leading her out of the club. So at this point, Jasmine's trying to resist, like she's dropping her weight, trying to make them carry dead weight. She's saying no, no, like trying everything she can to resist.
Help me! Help me! Nick!
Then there's a guy who's watching this whole thing go down. We're gonna call this guy Unu because I just saw like a True Beauty meme and it brought back so many good memories. And this guy's a good guy, so we'll give him a good guy name. So Unu steps in and asks if she's okay. And apparently she somehow managed to stumble through her words to communicate that she is not okay and she's looking for her friends. So then Unu said something to Thing 1 and Thing 2 in Korean. Now she's drunk and she doesn't speak Korean that well, so she doesn't know what he said. But whatever he did say managed to make them leave. So then Unu tried to communicate with her, asking how he can help her because she's really drunk and she's alone now. And she really kept just trying to communicate with him to say, I really just need help to find my friends. So then he offered to help her look inside of the club because she said they're in here somewhere, please help me look for my friends. And he wanted to wait with her to make sure Thing 1 and Thing 2, those creeps didn't come back and make sure someone else didn't try to take advantage of this drunk girl and drag her outside of the club to do God knows what. So the first thing Unu did was take her to the bar to get her some water and make her drink the water so she could sober up. Hydration is key. So he waited with her by the bar as she drank her water for about 45 minutes. Then he got an idea. He's like, don't girls tend to congregate near the bathroom? Like, it's a little bit quieter. Maybe they could be over there trying to find her, get in touch with her. Eventually she'll have to come here, right? So let's go by the bathroom and see if we can find your friends. And get this man a medal because it worked and they found her friends. And when they finally all saw each other, there was such relief because they're like, girl, you were so drunk when we left you. We were so worried. Like, where did you go? Why did you wander off? You need to give her one of those child leashes. So yeah, Unu felt better knowing that she was in good hands with her friends, and her friends felt good knowing she was safe, but they're also like, who's this guy? So then he explained, hi, I'm so sorry. I saw your friend being dragged out of the club by two guys and she didn't look like she wanted to go with them, so I stepped in. So of course they thanked him. They're like, oh my God, like that's amazing. It's so nice to know that there's still good guys out there. Like you're amazing. You're the GOAT. That's so sweet of you. And with that, you know, they wanted to know his story, his name. They wanted to hang out with him. So they invited him to like hang over with them. Like, hey, like, yeah, why don't you get a drink with us? Why don't you sit with us and talk with us? Like, you're amazing. And it's a little unfortunate for Jasmine because she's just starting to sober up, so she don't remember like any of this. She only only remembers what her friends and what Eunwoo told her later. And she missed like a whole party because even his friends came over and started to join them. Like all of them were just hanging out. So yeah, as the conversation progressed, they could tell he was like a really good guy, a really decent guy, and they wanted to be in touch with him. They was like, yo, give me your cacao, let's exchange numbers, let's hang out, like you're awesome. So that was how that night went. This is how Jasmine and Eunwoo first entered each other's lives. Sometime later, Jasmine was talking with her friends about like love lives and dating. Hey, you got any luck? Hey, you talking to anyone special? Just girl talk. And Jasmine's like, no, I haven't really had much luck. To be fair, I haven't really been trying. And both of her friends were talking to guys that they were interested in. They were seeing on a semi-steady basis, so it kind of made her go like, maybe I should start dating. But at the same time, she's trashing men like, men ain't shit, they're garbage. But then they were like, you don't remember that night and output, but there are some good guys. Like that dude genuinely saved you. Don't give up, good guys are out there. And she remembered so little of that night, but she was indeed pretty curious about this knight in shining armor who saved her from fuck knows. So then Jasmine started to ask her friends about him, like, yeah, like, what did he look like? What was his name? Like, what happened? What's his story? They were like, oh my god, his English was so adorable. He was like over pronouncing his R's.
Girl.
Girl.
He was so sweet, he was really tall, and like he was really protective over you and you're a stranger. Those are green flags. So then she's like, do you think he has a girlfriend? And honestly, they didn't know because it didn't come up. Like they were all legitimately just having a very friendly conversation. Nothing flirty, nothing romantic or anything. They were just talking about movies and drinks and hobbies, the weather. Like it was nothing like that at all. But luckily for Jasmine, they do have his phone number because they were like, you're an awesome guy. We want to be your friend. Like let's exchange phone numbers. So they did give Jasmine his number and told her, hey, try to stay sober this time when you talk to him. But yeah, like she said in the email, that night was a wake-up call for her and her drinking habits. So ever since that night, she's really reined it in. She does not drink as much as she used to, which is good.
Please drink responsibly.
So like now she's sitting there with his phone number. She's like, how do I approach this? Like, I don't know what to say, what to do. I don't remember what I said to him that night. He probably doesn't have the best impression of me because I was drunk out of my mind. So then the friends have this brilliant idea. They said, well, you know, we all did hit it off genuinely that night as friends, so maybe we could all just arrange like a group event so it's not an awkward one-on-one re-meeting. Like we invite you, we invite them, and y'all just get together that way.
Oh my god! Wow! Oh my god!
You know, group activity is a lot less pressure. So Jasmine's two friends made this meetup happen, and when they got in touch with Eunwoo to say, hey, you know, like we had so much fun getting to know you that night in the club, we'd love to hang out with you again soon, like when are you free? He was like, oh my god, you guys are amazing. I would absolutely love to hang out with you guys again too. And he also said he'll invite his friends from the club that night. This time they decided to do something alcohol free. They decided to go bowling. I mean, yeah, there's like alcohol options, but it's not like the main point. It's not a pub, a bar, a club, a lounge. Now, Jasmine was so excited and she said this was her time to shine, to make like another, hopefully a much better impression. So skipping ahead to the bowling night, Jasmine and her two friends from the club, and it's Eunwoo, and he brought one of his friends from the club. As soon as Eunwoo saw Jasmine, he made a joke about how she looks so much better when she's sober.
That's how you greet an old friend.
Maybe I don't recognize you sober.
So she laughed and you're like, hi, yeah, but thank you so much for looking out for me that night. Seriously, like who knows what would have happened to me if those guys got their way and dragged me out of the club. He's like, oh, it's no problem. I have a little sister. I'd hope that if she was in the situation that somebody would do the same thing for her. Green flags. So with that, Jasmine has her in, like she's in. She's talking to him again and she can start over. So she's looking at him, she's talking with him, and she's definitely very interested. And she really regrets not remembering him from that night, but at the same time, you know, positive spin, she said, if she wasn't that fucked up, then she probably wouldn't have met him because he wouldn't have had a reason to come over and talk to her and save her. So everything happens for a reason?
Listen, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. 다른 남자를 만난 거는.
So Eunwoo was actually a really good bowler. So he offered to give her tips and help her and give her pointers on her bowling form. Her friends were happy because they're like, oh my god, this is actually working. Like, what the fuck? This is like a movie. They were getting along really well. They were really flirty. They kept laughing a lot. And it seemed like his friend also got the assignment because, you know, he's being a wingman. He's like hyping up his homie like, oh yeah, he's such a good bowler. He's such a sweet dude. He's so smart. He's handsome. Look at him. He's so tall. He's really athletic. So after a while, Jasmine and Eunwoo are off in their own little bowling world. And Jasmine's two friends saw this opportunity to just kind of like peace out. Eunwoo's friend also left. He said, they got this. So now it's just Jasmine and Eunwoo, and it actually took them a while to notice that now they're on their own, they're by themselves. Their friends left them. So they took a minute to call their respective friends like, what happened, where'd y'all go? Jasmine gets on the phone with her two friends and they said, oh, you know, like our job's done. Y'all look good. Like, I think this plan worked out. We're gonna go. Eunwoo's friend was not subtle at all. He's like, yeah, you know, this is just to get y'all together, so we're gonna go home now. So then Anu said, hey, so where'd your friends go? And she lied and was like, oh, they said something came up. And Anu was like, yeah, my friend said that he had to go too. So after an awkward moment of realization that they are now one-on-one alone with each other, they kind of just got back to bowling where they were. He continued to help her bowl. She started to get a little bit better. He decided to sweeten the pot by making her like a little deal. He said, for every spare you get, I'll answer like a personal question or I'll tell you a secret. If you get a strike, I'll give you one wish.
I don't need a lot of wishes, cause I'll be okay if I get one. If I had one wish.
She's like, a strike? What kind of wish? He's like, we'll get the strike and then we'll talk. Getting spares was actually kind of easy for her. She started to be able to ask him like certain questions like, so are you single? What's your type? Do you have a crush on anyone? Like these sort of flirty, suggestive type of questions. And based on the replies he was giving her, it was pretty clear that he was into her. He was interested. So it did take her a while, but she did finally get a strike. And do y'all want to know what she asked for her wish when she got her strike? She said, I want you to take me out. So then Anu laughed and was like, ha ha ha, oh my god, I was really hoping that that's what your wish was going to be. Of course I'll take you out.
Vegeta, what did you say his power level is? It's over 9,000! 9,000!
So now they can exchange IGs, TikToks, phone numbers, cacaos, because now they know that they're gonna go on a date. And she could not wait to tell her friends like, bitches, y'all are brilliant, this worked. Now that she's sober and she remembers talking to him, she's like, he's really funny, he's so sweet, he's really protective, he's tall, he's helpful, he's easy to talk to. She was very interested in getting to know him. He was so sweet. So over the next few days, Jasmine and Anu talked when they could, but admittedly they didn't talk that much because Anu was actually really busy. And since this was happening before their first date, she kind of got the idea that he wasn't all that interested in her, which is relatable, because if I'm talking to a guy and then he's not really talking to me or making an effort to talk to me, then I assume he's not that into me, so I get it. But that was very much not the case, because when they met up for the first date, he brought her flowers. He was dressed like he was made of boyfriend material, and he said he had a fun day planned for her and he hopes that she's gonna enjoy what he has in store. So first he took her to a restaurant by the beach so they could look at the ocean. She loves seafood, so she was very happy they had seafood. And then he took her to like those sky cable cars. It takes you to like a small island off the coast of Busan. I've been there. When I went there, it was like dinosaur decorations and a shit ton of cats, but apparently they changed the decorations a lot, so he took her to see what the new decorations were gonna be. They have like pretty fairy lights. It's super romantic. She said during the whole date he was the perfect gentleman. I mean, she knew he'd be a good guy because he looked out for her when he had no reason to or nothing to gain, you know, like he prevented her from leaving that club with 2 creeps. What other guy would defend a drunk girl he doesn't know and then not expect something in return? A gentleman would. So they went for a walk after they did the cable car, returned back to like the main part of Busan. And as they were walking, he asked her, hey, like, do you want to get a drink? And she's like, about that. So that night, you know, was a bit of a wake up call for me. So I'm trying not to drink as much. And he's like, no, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to like suggest that you drink a lot or you wanted to drink. She's like, no, it was totally fine. You couldn't have known, but no, I don't want to get a drink. And, you know, she's like, by the way, I'm not like this sloppy party girl. It's just, I'm really stressed and drinking just makes it easy to forget my stress. While they're walking and having a deep conversation, he kissed her. And Jasmine was so happy that he did, so she hugged him. And because he's tall, she had to reach up to grip his shoulders. So he playfully swung her around. And then when he put her back down, he said, so I hope this means that we can see each other again. Then he said that he would need some time to work on his English. She's like, oh my God, ditto, I need some time to work on my Korean. He's like, yeah, I wasn't expecting to like you so much, but I need to be good at English if we're gonna communicate better. So then he's like, okay, well, why don't we tutor each other? I can teach you Korean, you can teach me English. So like in between their dates, they had these like tutoring dates where they would meet up at a cafe and practice swapping languages with each other. And I guess you consider these tutoring sessions a date, depending on who you ask. They did this for months. And after all this time, spending time together, it was never explicitly said, but somewhere along the line, they became boyfriend and girlfriend. To this day, their anniversary date is pretty questionable. She's like, oh, it's the night that we kissed. And he's like, no, it's the night that I first met you in the club. It kind of goes back and forth. And the way that she found out she was his girlfriend is so freaking adorable. So one day they were taking a break from their tutoring sessions and they're like looking at memes and shit on each other's phone like, oh, isn't this funny? Oh, isn't that funny? And she showed him one on her phone. And he's like, oh my God, can you send that to me? So she sent it to him. And when she looks back at his phone at a video he's showing her, the notification comes on the top of his phone and it says, Yoja Chingu with flowers on it. So yes, she was already in his phone as girlfriend. Jasmine didn't know what to say. She didn't say anything. She didn't want to make it like awkward, but she was also speechless like, oh my God, does this mean I'm his girlfriend? So after she saw that, she put him in her phone as boyfriend. My boyfriend! She said, It also made her more interested in like sleeping with him. Believe it or not, they hadn't done that yet. She included a little bit of what had happened, and it goes as follows. Instead of meeting at a cafe for their normal tutoring sessions, she said, you know, maybe you could come over to my place and we could study there. And believe it or not, he actually said no at first because he said he doesn't know if he could trust himself to be alone with her. And she's like, what do you mean? And he said, I can't trust myself to not cross that line. So then Jasmine's like, what if I want you to cross that line? So then he asked, like, wait, are we talking about the same line? And she's like, sex, right? She's trying to be all smooth. And then suddenly she's like, sex to machi. So yes, now that they are indeed on the same page, she invited him over, he agreed, and they did cross that line. They crossed that line a lot, and she liked when he crossed that line. Crossing that line made her feel even closer to him, and she fell for him even more. She said he was a fast learner, and she didn't know what to expect given all the stereotypes, but she's happy. And she said he was definitely eager to please her, and he worked really hard to please her. Because she's so attracted to him, she said it made it feel more intense. Sorry folks, I had to do a quick battery change. So yeah, about 5 months into the relationship, Unu told her that he wanted her to not only meet his sister, but also to meet some more of his friends. Not the one from clubbing and bowling, but like some other friends. She couldn't wait, and she was excited to meet his sister, and she loves her sister. She's really happy to speak English. She's like, oh my god, I really miss taking my trips abroad. Like, I can't wait to go abroad. I love to be outside of Korea. And his friends are cool. They're like, yeah, no wonder he's been so positive these days, but also no wonder we don't see him anymore. So Unu's sister suggested, hey, you know, like, I really like her. You really like her. Has she met mom and dad yet? Unu was kind of worried it would not be the right time, and him being hesitant made Jasmine worry too. But Unu's sister actually talked him into it. He's like, come on, like, YOLO, you like her, we like her. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, there's a lot of bad things that could happen, but rip off the band-aid, right? So Jasmine prepared herself for some awkwardness, maybe some dog whistles, a little bit of hostility, but they were so nice. They didn't talk to her that much at all, but they were really nice to her. Like, they would smile, get her things, bring her food, bring her water, ask her if she was okay, give her the tour of the house. Yeah, she just kept saying that they smiled at her a lot. And she tried to talk with them in Korean because, you know, Unu's been teaching her for the past few months, but she said that thick Busan country Saturi dialect, she could not understand them. But it's cool because Unu and his sister were able to be the translator and be like the go-between, so they could all communicate with each other. So as of writing this email, Jasmine and Unu have been together for like a year, almost a year. She said everything's going great, her drinking's under control, her friends are supportive, his friends are supportive, his family is so sweet. He's consistently been the perfect gentleman. Like she said, she did not expect to find love, especially not abroad in Korea, but it happened. Jasmine, 정말 감사합니다. In the midst of all this like fuckboy spewage, we need a beacon of hope. Like I said, I can't control what is sent to me, like if it's good or bad, and try to balance it out. I really wish I could. So thank you so much, Jasmine. I teared up a little bit reading this email, I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad he protected you. I'm glad you're safe. We love a good love story, don't we? If you enjoy this story time and want to see more like it, please binge the playlist I have on my channel. I have Storytime playlists, vlogs in Korea playlists, rants, all sorts of things. And they're about to pop up on the end screen at the end of this video. So thanks for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong.